There's a moment that happens in the middle of the night when you're lying awake, staring at the ceiling, and you realize that everything you've been chasing is actually chasing you. Not metaphorically, not spiritually, but literally, in the way reality actually works. And in that moment, something inside you shifts. A door opens that you didn't know existed. You feel it, even if you can't quite explain it. And that's where we begin tonight. In that space between knowing and becoming, between the life you're living and the life you've always imagined living. Most people never discover the secret that changes everything because they're looking in the wrong direction. They're looking outward, searching for permission, waiting for circumstances to align, hoping that one day the universe will finally deliver what they've been praying for. But what if the universe isn't withholding anything from you? What if the only thing standing between you and everything you desire is a single shift in understanding, a single change in the way you actually feel about who you are? That thought alone should make your heart race a little, because somewhere deep inside you already know it's true. You felt it in moments of genuine peace, moments when you stopped fighting reality and just allowed yourself to feel worthy of what you wanted. Didn't life respond differently? Didn't things begin to move? This is what we're going to explore together tonight. Not theory, not philosophy floating somewhere in the clouds, but the actual mechanics of how your inner world creates your outer world, and more importantly, how to deliberately shift that inner world so that your outer circumstances have no choice but to follow. And yes, it works fast, terrifyingly fast once you understand it, frighteningly fast, because you'll start to see that you've been manifesting all along. You've been creating your reality every single day. You've just been doing it unconsciously, through worry, through doubt, through the assumption that things are hard and that you're not enough. And that's going to change starting right now. Think about the last time you truly wanted something. Not casually, not in passing, but desperately. When you wanted it so badly that it lived in your chest like a physical ache. Do you remember that feeling, that hunger, that longing that wouldn't let you sleep? Most people feel that desire and immediately do what their culture has taught them to do. They get busy, they work harder, they try to force it into existence through effort and action and willpower. And sometimes their efforts work, or at least they convince themselves they worked, that the thing they got was because of what they did. But that's not the full truth. The full truth is that something shifted inside them first. Before any external action, before any circumstance changed, something in their consciousness changed. They began to assume they could have it. They began to feel different about themselves. And then, only then, did the world respond. But here's what's terrifying about this truth, and why so few people actually live it. It means you can't blame anything outside of yourself anymore. It means you can't blame the economy, you can't blame bad luck. You can't blame the people who wronged you. You can't blame your circumstances or your background or the timing. It all points back to you, to your inner conviction, to what you are actually assuming about yourself when no one is watching, to the identity you've accepted as true. And that's both the most liberating and the most confronting realization a human being can have. There's a part of you that already knows this. It's the part of you that remembers times when you felt powerful, when you felt like you could do anything, and suddenly opportunities appeared that weren't there before. It's the part of you that knows that your thoughts create feelings, and your feelings create the person you believe you are, and the person you believe you are creates the life you live. You already know this. You felt the truth of it. But knowing and living it are two entirely different things, and that's what separates the people who wish from the people who become manifestation. Isn't magic. It's not the universe rewarding you because you've been good enough or spiritual enough or positive enough. It's something far simpler and far more powerful than that. It's the inevitable result of a single shift in consciousness. When you change the way you feel about yourself, when you genuinely shift the assumption of who you are, reality has no choice but to reorganize itself to match that new assumption. Not because the universe is punishing or rewarding you, but because consciousness creates form. Your inner world is the blueprint, and your outer world is always building itself to match that blueprint. Always. This is happening whether you're aware of it or not, and this is why the shift must happen on the inside first. This is why all the vision boards in the world won't help you if your inner conviction is still that you are unworthy of what you're visualizing. This is why writing down your goals is meaningless if you're still living with the feeling that they're impossible. Because your real vibration, your real frequency, the true assumption you're living from, always broadcasts louder than your words, louder than your actions, louder than your conscious intentions. Your unconscious conviction is the actual prayer your life is answering to every single day. So let's go deeper into this, because this is where your transformation begins. Not when you understand it intellectually, but when you feel it emotionally true. When it stops being something you read and becomes something you know, something you embody, something that changes how you move through the world. Imagine for just a moment what it would feel like to be the person who already has what you want. Not someday, not eventually, but now, in this moment. What would shift in your body if you truly believed you were already that person? What would your shoulders do? What would happen to your breath? Would you stand differently? Would you move differently? Would you feel a deeper sense of peace, a quieter certainty? This is not positive thinking. This is not affirmations. This is feeling your way into a new state of being, which is the only way real change ever happens. Your subconscious mind doesn't believe words. It believes the feelings you're living in. It believes the state you're consistently occupying. So if you're saying, I am abundant, while feeling anxious about money, your subconscious knows the truth. It knows which one is real, and it will organize your life around the feeling, not the words, every time. Without exception, this is why the people who get what they want do something different. They don't just think about it. They feel their way into the state of already having it. They don't fantasize about a future version of themselves. They assume they're already that version now. And here's what's absolutely crucial to understand. This isn't about delusion or denial or pretending. It's about recognizing that time is a perception. And if you're always living in the past or the future, you're never actually living in the power of the present. You're never actually in the creative state. You're always reaching, always lacking, always being the person without it. And that feeling of lack is the actual frequency you're broadcasting, regardless of what you're thinking. Think about your life right now, this very moment. What assumption are you living under about who you are, not who you want to be? Who you actually assume you are right now? Are you assuming you're someone who struggles? Are you assuming you're someone who gets unlucky things happen to? Are you assuming you're someone who isn't quite good enough, talented enough, worthy enough? Or are you assuming you're someone who is worthy, someone who is capable, someone who belongs? These assumptions run so deep, we don't even realize they're running. They've become invisible, but they're controlling your life with absolute precision. And here's the beautiful part, the part that should fill you with hope, so profound it almost hurts. You can change that assumption right now, not tomorrow, not when you get your life together, but right now, in this very moment. You can choose a different assumption about who you are. You can feel your way into a different state. And the second you do, the second you genuinely shift that internal conviction, your entire life will begin to respond. Not because the universe works like a vending machine, but because you are actually creating your reality through your state of being. You're not trying to get the thing. You're becoming the person who already is that thing. And that person, that version of you, already exists in consciousness. You're just stepping into it. This is the most powerful secret that has been hidden in plain sight throughout all of human history. The greatest teachings have all pointed to this same truth, stated in different ways, wrapped in different languages, but always saying the same thing. Change your consciousness and your circumstances must follow, not might follow, must follow. It's not a hope or a wish or a maybe. It's the law of how reality actually works. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Your life is a mirror of your assumptions. Your circumstances are a manifestation of your state of being, not your words. Your state, your actual feeling of who you are and what's possible for you. And most people live their entire lives trying to change the reflection without ever changing the mirror. They work harder on their circumstances when they should be working on their consciousness. They try to force external things to change when they should be shifting what they're assuming on the inside. It's like trying to fix the image on a movie screen instead of changing what's in the projector. The image will never change until the projector changes. And you are the projector. Your consciousness is the projector. Your assumptions are what's being shown on the screen of your life. This is why the transformation happens so fast once you understand it. Not because the universe suddenly starts working for you, but because you stop working against yourself. You stop assuming against yourself. You stop praying with your doubts, even as you're praying with your words. You stop broadcasting lack while asking for abundance. You stop feeling unworthy while claiming you deserve it. You become congruent on the inside, and when your inner world is no longer at war with itself, when your feeling state matches what you're claiming, when your assumption aligns with your desire, then things move so fast it's almost scary. Because all of a sudden, everything that was always available to you becomes accessible to you. Not because the thing changed, but because you changed. Because you are now the vibrational match for it. Think about what this means. Really let it sink in. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need to wait for the right time. You don't need to earn your way into believing you're worthy. You don't need to accumulate proof that it's possible. All you need to do is assume it's already done. All you need to do is feel the way you would feel if everything you desire was already yours. All you need to do is occupy the state of the person who has it. That's it. That's the entire secret. And it's so simple that most people will read those words and immediately dismiss them. Their minds will reject it because it's too easy, too available, too within their own power. Because if it was this simple, then they couldn't blame anyone else. They couldn't say the world is unfair. They couldn't say it's not their fault. And for a lot of people, the victim identity is more comfortable than the responsibility of being the creator of their own life. But you're not one of those people. Or at least, not completely. Because something inside you already knows this is true. Something in you has tasted this power before. In moments when you felt genuinely good, when you felt genuinely worthy, when you felt genuinely certain about something, didn't your life respond? Didn't opportunities appear? Didn't people treat you differently? Didn't your body move differently through the world? Of course it did, because you were broadcasting a different frequency. You were assuming something different about yourself, and reality can't help but match that vibration. So here's what changes starting right now. You stop waiting to feel good until things change. You start feeling good now, knowing that feeling good is what changes things. You stop waiting to feel worthy until you succeed. You start feeling worthy now, and success becomes inevitable. You stop waiting to feel certain until you have proof. You start feeling certain now, and the proof appears to match your certainty. This is the reversal that most people never make. They think it should go, do the work, feel the results, become the person. But the actual order is, become the person, feel the state, and the work becomes easy and the results follow naturally. And yes, action still matters. But it matters in a completely different way. When you're operating from a state of already having, when you're operating from a place of knowing you're worthy, When you're moving through the world as the person who already is what you desire, your actions are completely different. They're not desperate. They're not forced. They're not frantic. They're not coming from lack and fear. They're coming from alignment and certainty. And actions that come from that state of being are 100 times more powerful than actions that come from desperation and doubt. Think about the last time you took action from a place of genuine belief in yourself. How did it feel different? How did people respond differently to you? Didn't doors open easier? Didn't conversations flow more naturally? Weren't you more charismatic, more confident, more magnetic? That wasn't accidental. That was because your energy was different. Your vibration was different. And the world always responds to your vibration, not to your effort. This is what most people don't understand about success. It's not about trying harder. It's about being different. It's about shifting who you are on the inside so that the outside has to rearrange itself to match you. And this is the point where the ego usually shows up with all of its objections. It will tell you that you're being unrealistic. It will tell you that you need to be responsible and face facts. It will tell you that wanting things is okay, but actually assuming you already have them is denial. It will tell you that you need to wait until you've earned it, proven yourself, accumulated enough evidence. And it will sound so reasonable, so logical, so grounded in what appears to be reality. But here's what the ego doesn't understand. Your assumptions are creating that reality it's telling you to face. The very facts it's pointing you toward are a result of your past assumptions. So if you want different facts, you need different assumptions. If you want different evidence, you need to shift what you're convinced is true about yourself now. This is the revolution that transforms everything. When you understand that your current circumstances are not facts about reality, they're facts about what you've been assuming. And you can change your assumptions anytime you want. Right now, in this moment, you could decide that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you are deserving of your desires, that things flow to you easily, that the universe conspires to help you. You could assume all of that right now, and nobody could stop you. Nobody could argue you out of it. It's entirely within your own consciousness, entirely within your own power. And the moment you shift that assumption, everything begins to shift. But here's where most people stumble. They shift the assumption for 5 minutes, feel good, and then drift back into their old assumptions by habit. Because your old assumptions are comfortable. They're familiar. They've become like an old pair of shoes. Even though they're worn and hurting your feet, at least you know how they feel. And your mind will fight to keep you in that familiar place, even if that place is painful. So the real work isn't in making the shift once. It's in holding the shift. It's in catching yourself when you slip back into your old assumptions and gently, without judgment, returning to your new state over and over until the new state becomes your new normal, until assuming you're worthy becomes as automatic as your old habit of assuming you weren't. This is what true transformation is. Not a single moment of realization, but a consistent practice of returning to a new assumption about yourself. Every time you feel doubt, you return to knowing. Every time you feel unworthy, you return to feeling deserving. Every time your mind tries to convince you that it's not possible, you return to the feeling state of someone for whom it's already done. And gradually, like water wearing stone, this new assumption becomes your new bedrock. It becomes who you actually are, not who you're pretending to be, not who you're trying to be, but who you genuinely are, all the way down. And when that happens, when that shift goes from intellectual understanding to embodied truth, that's when things move so fast it's almost scary. People will start to appear in your life who are drawn to the energy you're broadcasting. Opportunities will start to emerge that weren't visible before. Doors will start to open that seemed locked. Resources will start to flow that seemed unavailable. And it won't feel like luck or chance. It will feel like everything was always trying to reach you, and you finally positioned yourself to receive it, because that's what actually happened. You shifted. The world was always there, but your consciousness was closed. And the moment you opened, everything that was always available started flowing in. Think about what this means for the thing you want most right now, that dream you have, that desire you've been carrying, that version of yourself you've been imagining. What would it mean to stop waiting for permission? What would it mean to stop waiting for proof? What would it mean to assume right now, today, that you're already becoming that person? What would it mean to feel in your body the feeling of having already arrived? What would it mean to move through the world as someone who belongs, someone who is worthy, someone for whom doors open easily? Because that person exists. That version of you isn't in the future. It's in consciousness right now. It's available right now. And all you have to do is step into it by shifting your assumption. The beautiful thing about consciousness is that it's not bound by time the way your mind thinks it is. In your consciousness, the thing you desire, the person you want to become, the life you want to live, it all already exists. It's already real in the realm of consciousness. It's already whole and complete and waiting for you. The only reason it's not manifesting in your physical reality is because you're still assuming from the perspective of not having it. You're still operating from the vibration of lack. You're still living as if it's in the future. But what if you could shift that? What if you could truly feel, not just think, but genuinely feel that it's already yours? What would change? What would become possible? This is what the greatest teachings have always been pointing toward. The idea that faith isn't something you have to beg for or earn. Faith is a state you can occupy. It's a way of feeling. It's an assumption you can choose. And the moment you choose it, the moment you feel the way faith would feel, you're no longer separated from what you want. You're in union with it. You're already there, consciousness-wise. And the physical manifestation is just the universe catching up to where you already are in consciousness. It's just time making the invisible visible. It's just the outer world reflecting what you've already accepted as true on the inside. And yes, this is scary, because it means you can't pretend anymore. It means you can't hide from yourself. It means you can't blame your circumstances or your family or your past or your bad luck anymore, because all of that is just a reflection of what you've been assuming about yourself. Once you know that, once you really feel that deep in your cells, you can't go back to believing you're a victim of circumstance. You have to recognize that you're the creator of your circumstance. And that's both the most frightening and the most liberating realization a person can have. But here's the thing about that fear. It's not really fear of the manifestation. It's fear of the responsibility. It's fear of your own power. It's fear that if you genuinely believe you can have what you want, you might actually get it. And then what? Who would you be then? What would that mean about you? Because as long as your desires are in the future, as long as you're still reaching for them, you can protect a part of yourself. You can say it's not your fault they haven't come yet. You can stay in the safety of longing. But the moment you truly assume you have them, the moment you genuinely shift your consciousness to a state of already having, you've crossed a line. You've committed yourself to being that person. And that person is powerful. That person is responsible. That person can't hide anymore. And that's probably why you're listening right now. Because somewhere deep inside, you're ready. You're ready to cross that line. You're ready to stop protecting yourself with doubt. You're ready to give yourself permission to have what you want. You're ready to become the person who doesn't wish for their life but lives it fully. You're ready to shift from hoping to knowing, from reaching to receiving, from becoming to being. And the beautiful truth is that this shift doesn't require years of work. It doesn't require discipline that breaks you. It doesn't require sacrifice or suffering or paying your dues. It just requires a single choice. A single decision to assume something different about yourself right now, to feel your way into a new state, to occupy the consciousness of the person who is already what you want to be. That's it. That's the beginning of everything. And once you make that choice, once you genuinely shift that assumption, you'll be amazed at how fast things start to move. You'll be amazed at how the universe conspires with you. You'll be amazed at how opportunities appear from nowhere. You'll be amazed at how people change their behavior toward you. You'll be amazed at how life gets easier. Because that's what happens when you finally align your consciousness with your desire. When you stop assuming against yourself. When you stop broadcasting doubt and fear and unworthiness. When you finally feel, genuinely feel, that you're worthy of what you want. When you move through the world as someone who knows they belong. When you treat yourself like you're already the person you want to be. When you speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply loved. When you make decisions like you're someone who values themselves. That's when everything changes. Not tomorrow. Starting right now. So let's get real for a moment. Let's talk about what's really been holding you back. It's not lack of money. It's not lack of opportunity. It's not bad timing or wrong circumstances. It's not other people. It's been a single thing, and you've known it all along, but you might not have wanted to admit it. It's been your assumption about who you are. It's been the story you tell yourself about what's possible for you. It's been the unconscious conviction that you're not quite enough, that you have to earn your way to feeling good, that you have to achieve before you can rest, that you have to prove yourself before you're worthy, that you have to wait until conditions are perfect before you can trust yourself. That's the belief system that's been running your life, not consciously, but in the background, always. And the result of that belief system has been your life exactly as it is right now. So what if you change that? What if you decided right now, tonight, that you're done with that story? What if you decided that you're worthy now, that you're enough now, that you're capable now, that you deserve good things now? Not because you've earned them, not because you've proven anything, but simply because you exist. Simply because you're a consciousness having a human experience. Simply because that's the foundation of true worthiness. And it's not earned, it's recognized, it's remembered, it's claimed, it's assumed. And the moment you make that assumption, the moment you decide to feel like you're worthy, the moment you start treating yourself like you're someone who matters, like you're someone who deserves good things, like you're someone who belongs, everything begins to shift, not gradually. Fast, because you finally stopped broadcasting the frequency of unworthiness. You finally shifted the vibration. You finally aligned with what you actually want. And now you're no longer a magnet for experiences that match your doubt. You're a magnet for experiences that match your faith. You're a magnet for people who respect you because you respect yourself. You're a magnet for opportunities that honor your capability because you finally honored it yourself. This is the secret that changes everything. And it's not new, it's ancient. It's been woven through every mystical tradition, every spiritual teaching, every philosophy that's ever pointed humanity toward truth. The outer world is always a reflection of the inner world. As within, so without. Your consciousness creates your reality. Your assumptions become your experience. What you feel is what you're broadcasting. And what you're broadcasting is what comes back to you. This isn't punishment or reward. It's not karma working against you or for you. It's simply how the universe works. It's simply how consciousness and reality interact. And understanding this changes everything. So tonight, as you sit with these words, as you let them sink into your consciousness, I want you to feel something shift. I want you to feel the permission to stop struggling so hard. I want you to feel the permission to believe in yourself more gently. I want you to feel the permission to assume you're worthy without having to earn it first. I want you to feel the permission to step into your power without apology. I want you to feel the permission to be who you've always wanted to be. And I want you to understand that that permission has always been yours. It's always been available. You just forgot to claim it. You just forgot that your consciousness is the source of everything in your life. And now you're remembering. You're waking up. And as you wake up to your own power, as you remember that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of it, as you shift from living as someone who is trying to get something to living as someone who already has it, everything transforms. Your relationships transform because you're no longer seeking validation from others. You're validated from within. Your work transforms because you're no longer working from desperation. You're working from alignment. Your creativity transforms because you're no longer blocked by self-doubt. You're flowing from self-trust. Your health transforms because you're no longer punishing yourself with negative self-talk. You're honoring yourself with loving awareness. Your entire life transforms, not because external things change, but because you change. Because your consciousness shifts. Because your assumption about who you are finally aligns with who you actually are. And that shift, that remembering, that awakening, it's happening right now. Even as you read these words, even as these ideas are flowing through your consciousness, something is shifting. You can feel it. Some part of you is waking up. Some part of you is remembering your power. Some part of you is saying yes to the possibility that your life could be completely different, that you could be completely different, that you could step into your desires with certainty instead of hope, that you could move through the world as someone who belongs instead of someone who's waiting to be chosen, that you could be the person you've always imagined being, starting right now. So here's what I want you to do, not tomorrow, not when you have time, but in this moment I want you to close your eyes and feel it. Feel what it would feel like to be the person who already has what you want. Don't think about it. Feel it. Feel the peace that would come with knowing it's already yours. Feel the relief of not having to reach anymore. Feel the quiet certainty of someone who knows they're worthy. Feel the ease of moving through a life that feels aligned with who you are. Feel the love of being able to trust yourself completely. Feel the joy of finally being home in your own skin. Hold that feeling. Don't let your mind talk you out of it. Don't let doubt creep in. Just feel it. Just be there, in that state of consciousness where you're already the person, already having the life, already embodying what you desire. And stay there. Stay there as long as you can. Because every moment you spend in that state, you're broadcasting that vibration. You're telling the universe who you really are. You're telling your subconscious mind what to expect. You're shifting your assumption. You're aligning your consciousness with your desire. And from that alignment, everything flows. This is the work. This is the entire secret. Not thinking about it, not analyzing it, but feeling your way into the state of already having, of already being, of already knowing. That's where the real transformation happens. That's where the bridge between the inner world and the outer world is crossed. That's where consciousness becomes experience. That's where assumption becomes reality. And as you drift off tonight, as you let yourself rest in this new awareness, know that something has shifted. You are different. Your consciousness is different. Your assumption about yourself is different. And your life, your actual lived experience, is already beginning to reorganize itself to match this new state. Not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned with it. Because you finally got out of your own way. Because you finally gave yourself permission to have what you want. So rest in that. Rest in the knowing that you are worthy. Rest in the understanding that your desire is already yours in consciousness. Rest in the peace of finally stopping the search and simply receiving. Rest in the certainty that the universe is conspiring to help you. Rest in the faith that everything you need is already flowing toward you. Rest in the truth that you are enough. You always have been. You always will be. And now, finally, you know it.